special about the life and sadly death of Sir George Martin. As you watch this video, please click on the cards at the top right of the screen when they appear to watch videos about George Martin. The 8th of March was an extremely upsetting day for most people as the one and only 1960s recording producer of the Beatles, Sir George Martin, died at the age of 90. He was known as the fifth Beatle.
Ringo Starr, the Beatle drummer, broke the news to everyone on the Twitter page shortly after his death. His family issued a statement on Tuesday saying, "We would like to thank everyone for their thoughts, prayers and messages of support."
George taught himself how to play the piano at the age of 6 and shortly before leaving school joined a dance band. When the Second World War started, he moved to the south east of London where he attended drama school. At the school he developed many of his skills. During that time he developed to speak French fluently and played in an orchestra. Paul McCartney regarded George as a second father who was also in the band. George liked the band's charisma but not its musicalmanship, so he wanted to help them fix this, and that is what he did.
At the time that the Beatles were formed, it was unknown for British artists to record their own songs. Nonetheless, George decided that the Beatles' first single should be Love Me Do. The Beatles were a complete miracle. There wasn't just talent but also a lot of chemistry. No record producer was better for the Beatles than Mr. Martin. He was resourceful and open-minded. Crucially, he did not try to impose his own version on the group, but with them decided the idea of the concept album, something nobody had ever done before, and which culminated in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, an album some people regard as the greatest ever made.
Once they had gone beyond the stage of recording simple songs, they wanted to do something more adventurous. So the Beatles asked George, "What can you give us?" And George replied, "I can give you anything you like." George and the Beatles turned the studio into a wonderland of backward tape loops, multi-tracking and many other effects, none of which had been done before. At first George was very much in charge of the Beatles and picked Love Me Do as their first single, but the Beatles rejected his choice for the second one, which they hadn't written, and instead on their own, Please Please Me. From now on the Beatles started taking control of their own recordings. George's abilities to interrupt and guide their music was currently important, however, so he suggested a speed-up version of Please Please Me, and the partnership went on from there.
The Beatles began to break up after Sgt. Pepper. George's contributes would also peak at this time. He didn't work on Let It Be, and the band now turned their tapes over to Phil Spector. George wrote several books and a memoir, All You Need Is Yours, in 1977. In 2002, George, along with Paul McCartney, organised a concert in Buckingham Palace for the Golden Jubilee. Without George Martin, the Beatles would be a completely different band. His musical knowledge and sophistication took their work to another level. Nobody had ever used orchestra in pop music before, or any of the innovating effects he introduced along with the Beatles.
So in conclusion, rest in peace, Sir George Martin. You'll be missed by many people.